Welcome everybody into this brand new podcast I'm starting called Barely Bushy. I will be your host for the show, and obviously my name is Bushy. So the point of this podcast really is I want people to be able to tell their stories. I want to be able to bring in everybody from all walks of life, whether it's a bartender or an Uber driver or a student, whoever, to tell their unique story on a platform, hence the name Barely Bushy. Because I don't want this show to be about me. I want it to be about you, the audience, and the listener. And for this first episode that I'm starting off, we're going to start off a little big for you guys. I know that I said, I'll bring on some students, and I will. Don't worry, I will get to that. But sometimes when you start something off, you got to start off big. And I'm bringing on somebody that I recently befriended through YouTube and Twitch, and even seeing this guy play a little bit of hockey. It's pretty nice, by the way, so we have to be careful if you see him on the ice. He has over 2 million subscribers on YouTube and is close to 150 videos breaking the 1 million viewer mark. And his channel in total recently just actually passed 500 million total views. I am talking about the legend himself. The channel name is Poofesure, but for the purpose of this podcast, he will go by Keenan. Thank you for joining me, Keenan.
Hey, no problem, Bushy. Thanks for having me on, dude. That intro is actually pretty good. I'm surprised you got that first take. Yeah, unless you think something was screwed up in it. That was pretty good.
I did. I was practicing that a bit, but I appreciate that, trying to get it in. But no, I'm thankful that you're here, because obviously what I don't think people realize about YouTubers is they think that it's, especially parents these days, is that you just kind of hop on and you sit down, you play a game, or you record a video and you upload. But that is just not at all the case. I know your schedule is actually pretty busy, so I do appreciate you being able to come on.
Hey, no problem, man. Anything for you.
No, that means a lot. But first and foremost, for the people that are listening, why don't you just kind of tell us a tad bit, maybe a minute or two, just kind of who you are and what you do? Because I'm sure there's gonna be people that listen that don't even know the name Poofesure.
Right. Yeah. So Poofesure is my online alias that I've had for. I mean, I made my YouTube channel in 2009, and that's still the same channel that I'm using since I made it then, which in 2009 I was 14. So it's stuck a while. I'm a little embarrassed of the name. I mean, it's just a play on, poop and professor, just kind of put together. But it's stuck, and here we are today. I've gone through the gamut. I started on Call of Duty. I went to Minecraft, went to Fortnite, and then went back to the Wii because I did some Call of Duty Wii, back in 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. And I went back to the Wii, playing Wii Sports and Wii Party and that stuff, and that's really what blew up the channel, I guess. No one else was really playing it. I didn't think so many people would even want to watch something like that, but here we are. It's kind of just a blur at this point, but my channel blew up. We're almost 3 years now, 3 full years of the channel going strong. So I'm happy about that. And but overall, though, I've been making videos for way over 10 years. So it definitely wasn't a quick path to success. Well, my channel really blowing up was quick, but it was a long time in the making. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know that if you go to like your channel and you scroll back, it's funny to see the difference between like now how crisp the videos are in the cut. And it looks like, I could be wrong, but like your first few videos was it you like recording a TV with the camera and talking? That's what it looked like.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I remember getting we had all these shoe boxes in our basement. I was in my basement, or my parents' basement, and I had a tube TV, and there was a bunch of shoe boxes in one of the closets down there. I'd stack them up, get my mom's camera. At that time, it was just, a digital camera, and hit the video button on it and record the TV and talk at the same time. And I'm pretty sure I just put the video together on Windows Movie Maker and put it on the channel. I actually used Windows Movie Maker for a while back then.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of people, that's kind of like the start off editing thing. Now, if correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you initially start off videos under a different name than Poofesure?
Well, I'd call myself Mike. I don't know. I was really paranoid about people knowing my real name, but Poofesure was my original channel. Like it stayed since day one to now. But how I called myself back then definitely wasn't Keenan or Poofesure. It was I'd go by Mike because my full gamer tag. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it here, but
No, it's
it's a
fine.
it's
It's a
a
gamer tag.
it's a play on words with the Mike and then the last name Oxbig, put together on a gamer tag. I was such a funny little teenager.
I was gonna say, how old were you at when that started? Because you were probably what in like your early to mid teens.
Yeah, I was 13, 14.
Such such a hilarious time for everybody. Like honestly,
Yeah,
looking back, you're probably like, man, I can't believe
there's
that
so
I
much cringe.
that I did
So
that.
much. Yeah,
Exactly.
way too much cringe.
So like, was there like a certain point or like in the beginning where like do you remember a moment where you were almost like I want to record YouTube, or was it just kind of like here's a camera, I like playing games and talking, let me just like post to YouTube? Because back then YouTube was, I don't want to say new, but like it obviously wasn't what it was today because that was 10 years ago or so.
Right. Yeah, it definitely wasn't what it is today. I mean, today YouTube is very commercialized. I'm kind of lucky to make the content I do and still be on YouTube's good side. Generally speaking, I don't have issues with demonetization or anything like that, considering what my content is. But back then, it was just kind of whatever goes. It was truly, the social media platform of the people for the people. Anyone could upload whatever, and now it's very corporate, and they're watching everything, and they're all they care about are their dollar signs. Back then it was just fun, and I guess that's kind of what got me into it back then. It wasn't about money at all. Not that I do YouTube now for money, but obviously it's my livelihood, so I do kind of care about it. But back then it was just, I wanted people to watch my videos. I wanted to be somebody that others would see, and like, because Call of Duty was my game back then, they'd see my name in the lobby and be like, "Yo, I watch your YouTube videos. This is awesome." That kind of stuff. I wanted to be someone who shared content with people and made people laugh. And um, I don't know if my content really hit that back then. It was kind of cringe looking back at it now, but I got a couple thousand subs back then, and I felt like I was on top of the world. But um, obviously, there's a lot more to go.
Yeah, and like you said, it's funny when you think about certain people, like certain jobs, they're jobs to them, but this is something that you love to do. And obviously, there's a lot of time put into it, but I'm sure it doesn't feel like a job. Like you get to, like, I'm sure as the boomers would say, you're just playing games. But what they don't realize is that there's more to it than just games. Like a lot of YouTubers have people who help them record, or they have people that help them edit and upload and promote. And from what it seems like, you're kind of doing all that on your own. Like you're uploading, you're recording, you're replaying the games, you're editing them. And I see like on Instagram and Twitter, you're kind of promoting the stuff as well, which is even more impressive to me that you've got to there. I don't want to say like, on your own, but a lot of people I know have those editors or whatnot, and you're kind of like you're a one man show.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll on occasion have usually just my Minecraft stuff. I'll have someone else edit at this point just because I had like 24 hours of raw Minecraft footage, and I was just looking at that like, okay, this is something I need to pass along to someone else to
Whole
edit down.
day of footage.
Yeah. So bless his soul for freaking going through all that. I definitely did not want to do that. But either way, I like to have control of my content from, hitting record to when it's released on my channel. And even though he edited my Minecraft video, I'm going to go through it all myself now and make my own cuts. And, if there's something I think is missing, I'll go back through. Like, it's not a finished product even when I have him do that stuff. I still have to do stuff at the end to make sure it's what I want on my channel. And to be honest, YouTube, the toughest part for YouTube, it's a big mental game. And I get how some YouTubers get really caught up in the numbers, because the numbers can be either really exciting or really depressing. Um, and it starts to make you think, what you need to do, what you need to do different. I think the number one thing that and I think every YouTuber spends the most time on isn't recording, isn't editing. It's just thinking and trying to scheme up what your next video is going to be, what the direction of your channel is going to be. It's almost like, there's a whole nother level of business planning in a YouTube just to plan out what you're going to post and what direction your channel is going to go. And it's important too, you got to kind of judge what people are going to want to click on, how the YouTube algorithm is going to act with certain aspects of your video, tags, title, topic, whatever that is. So, and that's why I think a lot of the time is just I'll be sitting at my desk or just I'll be driving in my car and all I'm doing is just brainstorming and thinking like, this video did bad. What do I need to do different? Or what are my next few videos? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do to take myself or keep at least my channel going and then hopefully to the next level.
Yeah, wow, that's something that not even I have thought about. Is it's like some people will probably have the perception, and I have this occasionally, is it's like, okay, he probably wakes up in the morning, does whatever he needs to do, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go play Wii basketball and then record for an hour and that's it. But you're kind of saying that it's like for that whole process to be played out for a 30-minute video, that could be a 2 or 3 day sort of process of thinking and kind of saying, like, okay, this is the video I do want, this is what I don't want. And that's something that, wow, I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
thought about that before. And it makes sense too, where, I've seen occasionally people on YouTube, they'll have like, they'll start a series. Like, let's say they plan out, I guess, I don't know, 4 video series, but after the second one, they just stop. Like, is that something that's happened to you where you're kind of like,
Eh,
this could go somewhere and then it's not as popular? So you're like, maybe I should take a
uh,
step back.
right. Yeah. I definitely guilty of that. I try to stay away from things that I need to do multiple parts of, unless it's, like not to get too specific just because I don't know how many people really know the channel, but like We Party, for example, obviously you probably know those videos.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
Classic.
a series that I know I can go from start to finish and everything's gonna be all right. But if it's anything too different for the channel, like I did Detroit Become Human, which is a great game, one of the favorite games, my favorite games I've ever played. The first video didn't do too good, and it is kind of it's different. I am a variety channel to a degree, with the games I can play, meaning what I mean by variety. But my core is Wii, and if anything's too far off from that, it's probably not going to do great. It does good. I mean, for anyone's standards, it's still pretty good. But that's why I wanted to finish it though. I wasn't going to leave it hanging. So the second part of it, I just uploaded a massive 4-hour video of it because I didn't want to have multiple videos, so many videos on my channel that are tanking in views because it's mainly because I worry about how the YouTube views that and how the algorithm's gonna see my channel if I keep uploading videos that flop.
Yeah.
You know, am I gonna fall out of favor because I uploaded videos that my viewers don't want to watch? Because part of YouTube's algorithm is if my core subscribers aren't clicking on a video very much, YouTube's not going to push it out to new people.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that does make a lot of sense. For instance, like the Detroit video, it was roughly, I think, a little over 4 hours because I did watch the whole thing. Uh, but I kind of divided it up into 4 different 1 hour sessions. But to your point, it's kind of like you would rather have a 4 hour video, say, I guess for your channel, 100K views might be like a not as many, but that's still better than 4 1 hour videos that only get 10,000 views a video.
Right. I figure over time those Detroit Become Human videos will catch up in views. And I've noticed that, when you said how many million view videos I have, that's kind of surprising to me how many there are. But sometimes I look back at these videos that I remember kind of flopped in the first few days, as far as view performance. But then when you check on them, months later, compared to the videos around them, they're actually one of the most popular ones. YouTube works in different ways. I don't. You never know. You really
Yeah,
don't.
and it's funny where there's some videos like you said, where at first you're like, oh man, it only got 300K, but then you look back and it's like, oh, maybe it blew up somewhere else. Like for instance, the way that so for people who don't know, and I'm assuming most people who would be listening wouldn't know, I initially discovered the channel through I think it was a 1 minute video on iFunny of, I believe you were playing, I think it was Wheel of Fortune, and you did the
Mhm.
voiceover, and it's like that video in and of itself probably, I would assume, wasn't as popular at the beginning, but then it spreads to maybe something like iFunny, or a clip of it gets uploaded to Twitter and Instagram, and then a couple months down the road it blows up. So I'm sure that there's more to it than just kind of like, I just want to advertise it here. But like I said, like I've seen multiple of your clips on iFunny, and that's how I first discovered your channel.
Yeah, I think I know what one you're talking about. That line that's probably became the most popular line to ever come from my channel, because I was seeing it on, I was getting sent so many TikToks and stuff where that voice clip was put on these videos. Um, but that video did good, and yeah, it definitely Wheel of Fortune, kind of an obscure game, and over time, I'm sure that video is about 1 million views now, but it's surprising that video, to me, I thought, for as popular as that voice clip got, that video relative to the videos around it didn't get that many views.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. When I looked at it, I don't know. I don't even know if it's cracked 1 million yet.
I the last I saw was in the 900,000s. So, you'd think that video would be on the higher end of probably all my videos, that couple million views. But no, I
Yeah,
mean, it's surprising to me what sometimes comes from my videos and blows up so big, and then, on videos that might not be even be that popular on my channel. And maybe there's some, I don't know. I look at these TikTok comments and stuff, and most people know it's me, but I don't know if that's something I need to do better with, making sure my name is put on some of this stuff. But I'm not too big on that TikTok or
oh
any of
yeah,
that. No,
yeah.
I don't.
I had TikTok for a bit, but then I was like, this is like really cringy, and it's just a bunch of people dancing that I don't really care about. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have it. But yeah, like you were saying, like I know that clip, and um, for people who don't know how Twitch works, I mean, I don't know all that well, but essentially you can subscribe and do different tiers or whatnot, and then there can be different audio choices. And I know that one is a very popular audio choice, which again is really funny that that's not even based on what I counted. It's not even in your top 150 viewed videos.
Yeah. Nope. Not just the way the cookie crumbles. It did have a weird title. Maybe I titled it a little wrong, but hey,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm happy I got that exposure from it, but
Oh yeah,
it
and
is what it is.
is there, I'm curious from your perspective, based as opposed to like friends that I know that watch you that like certain videos. I'm curious if there's a video that or a video game that you love to play the most, because looking at your channel, two of your top four most viewed videos are actually Papa Louie videos, which to my knowledge, like that would not have been, I would have guessed like Wii Party or like maybe the Mario Party Raging or like your older Fortnite stuff. Like that would have been my guess. But to see that two of the top four are Papa Louie videos is kind of like shocking to me personally.
Yeah, I wish they made, well, they do make new Papa videos or games still, but they're on the mobile phone. But and Flash is dead now, so you can't do any of it
Oh, the
on,
worst. I'm
well,
so annoyed by that.
yeah, I don't get it, to be honest with you. But there's workarounds on the PC, but it kind of killed off those games to the masses because you got to work around it to get them to work. But yeah, that was one of the videos. Once my channel started blowing up on the Wii stuff, I started thinking back of other nostalgia games that I could play on my channel. And I played Papa's Burgeria. Playing Papa's Burgeria in 2019 was the name of that video that I uploaded, after my first few Wii videos blew up there.
Yeah.
And it took off even more than those. And so I kept with it. I played every single Papa's game, and I did different things in some of them. And, it came to the fact of giving people a lot of chicken wings on Papa's Wingeria is really what YouTube viewers like, because I'm pretty sure those are the ones that got the most
Yeah,
views.
the 1,026 wings to Taylor is at 4.9 million, which is like just it's your second most viewed video, which is hilarious.
What's my first most viewed?
Most viewed is Wii Sports Raging and Funny Moments Baseball Champions something, the title got cut off. It's at 5.3 million views.
Holy crap. When did that one start taking off?
Is
I
that
didn't
not one? Is
realize.
that not one that you would have guessed to be the top one?
No, I would have never guessed that would be it. The last I saw, that Taylor video was the top viewed. That one
It,
must have just started gaining more momentum lately or
yeah,
something.
that's at
I don't know.
4.9, 5.3. I don't. Would you even have a guess as to what the third most popular is? Because I don't
Is it Fortnite?
know. It's for whatever reason. And again, this could be another number that you're not sure how it took off. It's literally just titled "We Unfit." Is your third most viewed video?
Oh, okay, yeah. No, that video, when I still remember when I uploaded that one, that video was, and that was peak. My channel was blowing up. That video blew up so fast. I couldn't believe it. And again, as you're saying, it's just We Unfit was the title.
Yeah,
That's
it's a short
it.
title.
For whatever reason, that one performed incredibly. Um, Man, it's managed to stay in my top three.
Yeah, it's funny just like scrolling through your most viewed videos. Like there's a decent amount of Papa videos up there. It seems like there's some of my favorite videos. The Wii basketball ones are up there too, the Tommy
Hmm.
ones.
Yeah, those were the
But
good days right there.
no, I was like when I was counting, I was genuinely shocked. I was like, man, you're close to 150 videos at that. But I think it's funny too to even look at that. Some of these videos go blowing up without even your knowledge. Like you didn't even know that your top video was a baseball one.
No, I don't even know when that happened. That one, I know it was a higher one, but I didn't think it was number one. That's for sure. With over 5 million views, sheesh.
Yeah. All right. So my assumption, just by looking at your channel, is it looks like probably roughly 2 years ago. Does that seem about right when your channel really took off? Because like almost all
Mm,
of your top viewed videos say 2 years ago.
yeah, it was end of July. I noticed my channel started to uptick. So I was playing Fortnite, since the end of 2017. I kind of hopped on Fortnite early.
Yeah.
And Fortnite essentially took my channel from like 50,000 subs to 300 and some thousand subs.
Now that's
But
as a YouTuber, was that a trend that like because you kind of been in the game, like is that something that you could project and you saw like, okay, this is like going to be like for at least
yeah,
the next few months, like this is the content you need.
yeah, I knew when I started playing Fortnite, I loved it. It was a really fun game, and I at that point my channel didn't have much of an identity. I think I was playing Friday the 13th before that. Um,
Those videos cracked me up. I like found those like buried in your videos. I was like, what are these? These are older. And I was like, no, these are actually like hilarious.
Yeah, I was there because because at that point I was just getting done with college and I was just kind of getting back into YouTube because for the most part during college I kind of quit YouTube and just let it sit. But then when I started getting more free time again, I got back into it. Friday the 13th, and then I went to Fortnite. It was really just the games I like to play. And fortunately enough, they became popular games. Maybe not so much Friday the 13th. It was popular enough at least. And then Fortnite, obviously, still probably the biggest game out there next to Minecraft. Um, but at some point, I'm playing Fortnite. It got stale for me. I was done with it. My content I felt wasn't very fresh. It's just whatever could get me the views to whatever. It's just kind of
Yeah,
whatever.
just
Uh,
keep the channel alive.
yeah, just kind of keeping it afloat. And so I decided to take a risk. It was spring of 2019. I just decided I'm done with Fortnite. I'm going to start playing variety content. And at that time, I was watching a bit of RT Game. I don't know if you know his YouTube channel.
I don't know his stuff too well now.
Okay, he's a variety YouTuber, but I was watching a lot of his stuff, and I was kind of jealous of how he could play whatever games, and he was funny, and I was thinking I can do this because I in the past, back in 2012, I was doing variety like Wii content.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna go back to some of these older games and stuff like that, and my channel took a big hit, but eventually a few months later I started noticing an uptick on my channel, and it was actually my old Wii Sports videos from like 2011, 2012 that
Long
were,
ago.
yeah, and this is summer now of 2019, that were getting so many views suddenly. It was like the switch after a couple months of switching off Fortnite to variety games, that those old videos were now popping in the algorithm. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do another Wii Sports Raging and Funny Moment video and see what happens. And then I uploaded that, and that video, again, it just started taking off right off the bat. And that's kind of that was just like the lighter and the gas, and all of a sudden upload a couple more Wii videos and the channel just kept going.
Yeah, it seems like I think like you've been very blessed in that position because from what I understand, like it takes a while. Now, obviously, like it's not like you uploaded one Wii video and boom, it blew up. But like you said, you uploaded some videos, then you took off, and then these ones really took off. And it seems like I don't want to say like way out there, but not the common sort of blow up. Like you seem to be very blessed by the way that your channel kind of grew, and I don't want to say like a short amount of time, but like an abnormally short amount of time.
Yeah, my channel was around for a long time to, to some degree of success, just slow and steady. And then that few months at the end of 2019, everything changed. I kind of was, I don't know if I'd be considered like an overnight kind of thing, but the relevancy of my channel became just astronomically larger in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like some people might be like, "Have you heard of Poofesure and like the channel?" And some people might say, "Yeah," but to one of those things where it's like, "Oh, like if you know gaming or like funny moment videos, like now like your name is somewhat in that kind of clique of the more popular guys."
Yeah, I hope so. That's my hope.
Yeah, and sort of like going back a little bit, is this something that obviously like you went to college? I believe it was you were initially planning on being in construction, right? Kind of that realm.
Yeah, I got a degree in construction tech. Wait, no, construction engineering technology and management.
Wow. That's a mouthful to put onto a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's a fancy way to say construction management. But that's my degree. I got a bachelor's degree in that, and I that's when my channel blew up. I was a project manager for a construction company. I was actually doing really well at that job too. I was going to be the top estimator because I was an estimator and project manager. I was going to be the top. I had top GP in the company for that year,
Wow.
which is top gross profit in the company. And I'm working with people that are much older than me. I got one of the biggest jobs the company is. I estimated it, and then they put me as a project manager on one of the biggest projects they've ever had.
Holy
And it went
cow.
really well. I ended up quitting right in the middle of that project. Um, and I was going to be, the guy to go on the company trip. I was going to be the guy, I had a big bonus coming my way for how much I made the company, but I quit and didn't get either of those things because it just got to the point where I couldn't, I didn't want to get up in the morning and go to work.
Oh yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I'm making so much more money just making videos on the internet. It really didn't make sense anymore. And luckily my bosses are super cool, and they already caught wind of how much I was making on my YouTube channel.
They
And
understood.
they already were talking about like, yeah, he's gonna be quitting. There's no way. And they completely understood. And
Yeah.
that door is always open to me. Like, because at that point it was a leap of faith, right?
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I told him that, like, this could go belly up real quickly. I had only had this huge amount of viewership for 2 months at the time.
You don't want to burn the bridge with them.
Right. So I was like, it could be a year and I'm back, or less than a year. But it's crazy to think, this October, it was like middle October, I quit in 2019. That's my last day. It's gonna be 3 years. I can't believe it's already been over 2 years, man. Time
Wow.
is flying.
Yeah, so I think that that's also like just like sort of a good little life lesson to people is it's like you see people like you and other people I'm aware like the channel The Boys and guys like Josh Dubb, like Special those guys, it's like yeah, like you're at two and like three, you'll be at three eventually, like I would assume, and then guys who are like four and five, it's like yeah, like you can get to that point, but a lot of these guys before they get there, they're working full-time jobs and like YouTube is sort of the side gig. It's not like YouTube initially was the full thing. And I think that a lot of people kind of sit back, like for instance, me, like it would be foolish of me to be like, oh, like this podcast episode, like my first one is going to get 2 million views and like I'm not going to have to do anything ever. Like, no, that's probably not the case at all. And I'm probably gonna have to work a second job. But I think it's a good life lesson. It's like you were working construction, like doing well. Like YouTube was not your planned career path.
No, yeah, it was just it was a side hobby. You gotta, and that's what I say to anybody, with kids or whatever that want to be YouTubers. You can't just put your eggs in the basket. It's just like becoming a pro athlete or an actor or anything like that. You can't put all your eggs in the basket for that to happen. You
Yeah.
got to stay the course of something that is reliable. And if your side hustle ends up, or your side hobby ends up giving you the opportunity to do it as a full-time job, take it. But if it's not, then you can't quit everything else to follow a pipe dream. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah, and for you said, professional athletes, for instance, those guys, it's funny. People always say, LeBron, oh, he's 38 years old. He's getting old. Well, the guy probably has 40, 50, 60 years left of life, and he's going to retire, I would assume, in the next 5 years. So, like, you got to plan ahead. You got to have a plan. Being a professional athlete's not going to always be there. I think YouTube's a little different, but I can only assume that you're not going to be making Wii videos from now until you're 75. I mean, maybe if it's still popular, but it'd be really funny. It'd be really
Yeah.
funny if you had a Wii working in 60 years or whatever. But like the YouTube is there and you love doing it, but you always have to have like a backup plan because you never know.
Right. Yeah, I think LeBron's probably set for the rest of his life.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a little different than you.
Yeah, yeah. I don't unfortunately make LeBron money, but the YouTube's a more interesting one. If you look at a lesser athlete that, someone who might be making $1 million a year right now in pro sports, they're making good money, but after they retire, they're likely still not going to have any brand deals, anything like that. They were good enough to get a decent paycheck, but, you know, after that, they're kind of just whatever. LeBron's always going to have shoes and endorsements and stuff like that. But your mid to low mid to mid athletes. I watch hockey mainly. None of them are really paid anywhere near what some of these football,
No,
baseball, and
not even the big guys. Like
not even the big guys.
Crosby, Ovechkins, those
Yeah,
guys. I don't think are close.
I think I think McDavid's the highest at 13 mil a year. And LeBron's probably at how many tens of millions?
Or guy Patrick Mahomes signed a 10-year, $500 million contract.
Yeah. So they're making a buttload more money. But when I think a hockey player, because if there's one sport I wanted to be a pro athlete in, it would have been hockey. Hockey's always been my sport.
Red Wings
even
fan,
if you're
unfortunate,
what's that?
Little unfortunate you're a Red Wings fan. They're not exactly the greatest.
And not a Philadelphia Flyers fan though.
That hurts. That hurts.
But you think a good hockey player probably makes a couple million a year, and after they're done, you don't have those big brand deals. You don't have anything anymore other than what you made. YouTube though is a little different. Your channel is always going to be there, and as long as your videos are timeless enough, they're always going to be getting views, and you're always going to be having some sort of income, which is an interesting thing I think about, because I know my channel can't last forever, but but I think about, are my videos timeless enough where people are going to keep coming back to watch them for whatever reason? And is that going to be enough to support the lifestyle I have? I kind of have an expensive lifestyle right now, but I'm trying to live at the same time. But I try to be in positions on the things I own that I can sell them on a whim if anything went belly up or anything like that. But going back to the point of planning for the future, I actually don't really know, but I have a lot of thoughts about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And to your point, it's kind of like you wouldn't do this right now, but if you did stop and you were like, I want to do something different with my life, so I'm done making YouTube videos. Well, you would still have the revenue and different things coming in, like that baseball video that you didn't even know broke 5 million views. Like that's a video that you weren't even aware was blowing up, and it's still to this day gaining more and more views.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes the biggest views, biggest, last 48-hour view videos are not my newest ones. There's some weird, obscure video from months or years ago.
Gotta love when people go back. Now, this is, I wouldn't want to say like a personal question, but just kind of a question that I think people like to know is that when you initially stopped and you were making the decision, I'm done construction, I'm going to YouTube, were the people around you supportive of that, or were they like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this?
I mean, I talked to my parents about it probably before anybody, and they were hesitant. I think eh, once you can show them the number, I mean, you gotta kind of be transparent with your numbers to really convince the people closest to you or that matters the
Yeah,
most to you to
that's fair.
support your decision. There was a point where it was just, I'm making more in a month on YouTube than I would make in the entire year at my day job. Like what? Why put this time and effort towards the day job? Right?
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense. And anyone you tell that is probably going to just, agree with you that okay, it doesn't make sense. You need to quit.
Yeah. No, I think in any endeavor, something similar to this, for instance, if this podcast, Lord willing, were to blow up and keep going and going, if I told my parents, I work for my dad right now, if I said, hey, I want to do this full time, I don't know if I'll have the time to work for you anymore, he would probably say, I don't know about that. But if I were to present to him, well, through Patreon, Spotify, sponsors, whatever, here's how much I'm making, then it's kind of like, okay, this is now a lifestyle that you can sustain doing this and you love doing it. So fully invest into doing this is what you love, which obviously you love doing YouTube and you enjoy it. And it can be time consuming, but you do what you love and you never work a day in your life. And I think
Right.
there's a lot of truth to that.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
But so for your perspective, obviously different videos were popular. This is a question just I feel as if a lot of fans would want to know, is there one specific game that isn't necessarily the most popular, but that you just genuinely enjoy playing the most for the channel?
For my channel, I actually really like Mario Kart. I'm not gonna lie, Mario Kart Wii is a really good game. Wii Sports is pretty fun too, depending on the sport I'm playing. There's certain sports I like more than others. Basketball was really fun. I really like playing basketball, but I think I've done basketball to death, so I don't really play it anymore. But
They
yeah,
took it.
I mean, I'm lucky that a lot of Wii games are pretty fun. I think also Wheel of Fortune, these random Jeopardy or what one was I playing recently? Family Feud. Just these random game show games for the Wii are fun. The novelty or the fun of I think my channel is that I get to play a different game every time.
Yeah.
And it makes everything a lot fresher. Sometimes though I do play I think one game more than others. Like right now I played enough Wii Party recently. I think I might need to go on a Wii Party break. But and then there's off my channel too that I love to play Flight Simulator. Like I love Flight Simulator.
Yeah, like I think that's a really good Twitch game to play and stream and interact with fans, but it might not be the most entertaining like hour-long watch by yourself.
No, just watching me fly a plane is actually pretty boring. And honestly, it's kind of not even a game. It's more like you're doing someone's job simulator. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you're
well,
pretending to be a pilot online.
maybe sometime you're flying and they need you to step in. Maybe something happens and you're like, "Hey, I've done this."
I can only hope I can get the chance to shine. Like, well, no, actually, I don't think I want to hope on that. I don't want to know what went wrong that I have to fly a plane.
That is true. They did just lift mask mandates on airplanes. I did see that. So
Yeah, I don't. I've been flying so much before that, and now I don't have a reason to fly, and I'm like, damn, finally get to do that without wearing a mask.
no, Mario Kart is a game that I grew up playing. If you could at some point try to get, I don't know how you would get it, but I grew up with the GameCube, so I grew up with Double Dash personally, which I think is the most fun because you can get two people to a kart and the person on the back can punch the other people, which is
I d-
hilarious.
I don't think I've ever played that game or
You've
even
never
known that.
played Double Dash?
No.
Oh, it's so
Wait,
fun.
what
Like
is it for? What game
I
console?
I don't know if it was for GameCube. So if you get it, you
Okay.
can probably play it on Wii. But I just thought it was so funny because it was so different because you got two characters to a cart and using the left and right bumpers on the GameCube controller, they could punch the person next to them and steal their item.
Hmm. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised though that given how much Wii and Nintendo and Mario stuff you play, that you've never maybe you had, but it just wasn't good content. I'm surprised I haven't seen like Super Smash stuff, which I guess by
Oh.
yourself might be a little tough.
Right. I was waiting for you to say that. I know that's one I probably should, but I never liked Smash. Whenever my friends would come over or I'd go to a friend's and they'd want to play Smash, I don't know. I just spam the buttons and I lose. I suck. I suck at Smash, and I just always felt like it's just randomly mashing buttons and hoping the good thing happens. That you beat
That's
the
very
other
fair.
person. So I just never got into it, and that's why I still haven't touched it. Because I know you can like make a me fighter now in the most recent Smash
Oh yeah.
game.
Oh, you could have like a full matchup of like if you wanted like Beef Balls, Duty Dude, Alfonso, and whoever, like you could do a full matchup of them just fighting each other, which could make good content, but I feel like it would have to certain things would have to happen for it to make like the content worth uploading.
Right, exactly. I'm sure I could get a video out of it, but I guess for now I'm staying to my word that I don't like Smash.
I could see why. I've played with some people before who play it all the time, and it's not even fun because as soon as it starts, you're down like 3 lives, and you're like, yo, like what is going on here?
Yeah, that was me. All my friends are better than me. I was the worst at Smash.
So do you when you play the games, are there certain games where you're just like, I'm terrible at this game, but it's entertaining? Because they're like, I'm not gonna lie, I've heard some people where they're like, it's so funny because you'll occasionally play a game and they're like, why is he so bad at this game if he's been playing for so long?
I I don't know. I don't think I'm good at video games in general, to be honest with you. Um, but I think that's part of the novelty, I guess. But I mean, I've been playing Wii Sports. I've been playing Wii Party for how long, and there's just some mini games or some games that I suck. I just can't figure it out. Well, and I'd like to think I don't suck. It's probably the game's fault.
Oh yeah. Every time I watch, there's two games specifically that I've never played Wii Party, but when I'm watching, to me it makes no sense. And it's the one where you're flying around in space and the like
Hmm.
swimming one. I'm like it
Yeah,
looks
it.
frustrating, but like I feel like even I would be bad at that. Like, how are the CPUs so good?
Yeah, I have no idea. That I was thinking that same one flying around in space one that you just mentioned. I was thinking about that mini game when when you asked the question. I don't know if I don't understand the controls or how the game works, or if it's just they screwed up and made a terrible mini game that you just can't play right. It just it I'm gonna get worked up about it right now. It gets me really worked up when these games just don't operate as I think they should, or they don't. What I'm trying to do in real life isn't portraying in the game. That's really when I get the most mad.
Oh yeah, it cracks me up because I was like be watching a video and you go to a mini game, I see this space game and it's gotten to the point where you're just like, I'm not even gonna try. Like, what is the point? I know this isn't gonna work. And like you said, we're human and we make mistakes. There could be like a legitimate flaw in the design of that game.
Yeah,
Like
I think there is personally, but there's some we party speedrunners and stuff. Uh, I don't know why I haven't asked one of them if that game's just broken or not, but they can usually beat everything, so it makes me think that I just suck.
Yeah. So before I kind of close out the show, there's just one question aside from the channel that I'd be curious just to ask about for the people also listening who might not know. You're a big car guy. And people who don't know that, if you want to follow on Instagram, it's poof.cars. You can follow his car account. Why don't you just kind of fill us in on the cars that you currently have and if there's any future plans to kind of invest in new cars? I'm not saying this the like flaunt what you do, but like it seems to be like your a different side passion is like you genuinely like having cars and you like looking at cars and I get that because a lot of people are car guys.
Yeah, I not that you should be completely motivated by material things, but it's a huge motivator for me to it was a dream of mine to own a car. I really wanted a Lamborghini Huracan. That was one of the things, I thought the way I'd get it is just, working up through my job, eventually, getting to be in a more higher management role than just project manager, and then I can buy a Lamborghini.
Yeah, like when you're in like your 50s or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Or I could buy a Gallardo, a Lamborghini Gallardo, which at that time were, you could get a little higher mileage one for around 100,000, which sounds like a lot, but if your student loans are paid off and you got a decent salary and you save up some money for a down payment, it's not that bad if you finance it out.
Mm.
But that's how I thought it would be. But YouTube I'm very lucky, very, very lucky to be in the situation I am to afford the cars that I have. So I actually bought a 2019. Well, I leased a. Well, I guess let's take it a step back. So you know how I had my full time job and I was doing YouTube on the side, doing the Fortnite and the
Oh yeah.
Friday the 13th stuff. I made enough money on the side that I could buy. I bought a 2016 1SS Camaro. It was all black, and it was
What year was this? So like how old was the car when you got it?
that would have been, it was December of 18. Wait,
Okay,
no.
so
December. Hold up. Yeah. No, yeah, it would have been December of 18 that I bought that.
a couple years old when you got it. It wasn't like
Yeah.
brand new.
No, it wasn't. But man, it was nice. I always loved Camaros. Back in 2015, when I was still in college, one summer, I had a paid internship. After my internship during the day, I was a server at Outback Steakhouse, and I worked two jobs that summer. You know, my hourly wage at my paid internship, and then I'd go right to Outback after work as a server for 6 hours, and then at home, sleep, get up, go to work,
So
go to work,
you really are
sleep.
a hard worker.
I wanted a Camaro. I
Yeah.
wanted a freaking Camaro. And that summer 2015, I bought a 2011 2LT Camaro. It was white orange stripes with an orange interior. And I loved it. Unfortunately, it became a point that, I was tired of driving it in the winter and stuff. So I sold that in like 2017. And then in 2018, I was able to buy that 2016 Camaro through the extra income that I made on my Fortnite videos. And then 4 months later, I barely drove that Camaro. I went to the dealership, the Chevrolet dealership, and I really wanted to get a newer Camaro, but their numbers were just outrageous. And he was like, I can probably get you a better deal on a Corvette, though. And they had this orange 2019 Grand Sport, and I loved it. And we were able, I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd just get denied on it, but they're able to get me approved on a lease for it. And I didn't even trade in my Camaro. I sold that privately because I didn't want to take the hit on it. So yeah, then I had my Corvette then, and I paid for that just with the side income from my YouTube.
Yeah.
My day job was still paying, my regular bills.
See, that to me, that's so cool because like I didn't even realize that was something that you did with all that work. And again, I go back to this point. I feel like sometimes I kind of like drill it in a little too much, but I do think that a lot of people perceive gamers, streamers, podcasters, even that sort of relative field of these are just lazy millennials who just sit around and don't do much. It's like not necessarily like I'm sure that a lot of people who maybe don't know that much about you, if they listen to this, they'll be like, wow, like this guy didn't just sit down and play video games forever. Like he worked, like he went to college, had an internship and worked. And like you said, it's not always the greatest to have a material thing be your motivator because it'll eventually go away and get old and break down. But when you do have the motivation to reach a certain goal, then it's like, okay, I will do this. Like for me, obviously living up outside of Philly, I eventually would like to have my own place in Florida. So that motivates me to want to work hard so I can move out and kind of start my own life. And who knows how long that'll take. But like there's that motivation to work hard. And I have an internship this summer and get to that point. It's not just like you can't just for you, like you couldn't just sit around and all of a sudden like a Lamborghini was gonna fall into your lap. Like you had to work for years to get first off to your YouTube and then to build up to the point where you could get the car that you wanted.
Right. Yeah. Well, I have to say though, I mean, the hardest I really worked, I think, was that summer to buy that first Camaro, working those two jobs. I almost can't believe, and I was in college at the time. Like summers should be fun and kind of, you might have a job, but it's a lot more of, just doing whatever. But I just worked. I literally from sun up to sundown. Well, it's a way past sundown.
Yeah.
I just worked and I just saved up money to buy what I wanted to buy. And that, I mean, and my parents will probably say the same thing. I'm a person, a lot of times, if I see something and I say I want to do something, I'm going to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
sometimes it might take time. Even my YouTube channel took time. Once it happened very quickly. But my YouTube channel allowed me to buy, and it was right. It was like 2 days before everything started shutting down from COVID. I bought my first Lamborghini, 2016 LP610-4 Huracan that had
Mhm.
22,000 miles on it. At the time, very high mileage Huracan. And it was a cheaper one, just, because it had a higher mileage.
Yeah.
And, uh, yeah, and then 2 days later, everything shut down with the pandemic, and everything tanked in value and everything. I was like, oh crap, you know.
Like
But
you could have waited. Like you're saying, your point is that if you waited a bit, then it might have been a lot cheaper.
well, it could have been, or I was thinking if everything was just going to keep going down, this is not looking good.
Yeah.
Um, but it ended up rebounding, and my car was worth even more when I traded it in. But uh, everything kind of worked out. I got lucky in a way there. But then obviously I traded in, or obvious to me and you, I traded in that orange 2016 for a blue 2019 Performante Spider, which I still have to this day. I've had that one for over a year now. And then this past October, I picked up a McLaren 600 LT Spider, which those two cars, a Huracan and the 600 LT, those were always the cars I would look at before I could even dream of owning those. And it's became surreal to me. Like it's so casual to me, now to look in my garage and see those two cars and not think much of it. But then I think, back to a few years ago, or working at my construction job, being at my office on my computer during lunch, looking at all these cars and just dreaming that they're literally in my garage now. And I think sometimes I might take that for granted. But it's times like this where I really gotta, reflect on how lucky I am to be able to have that. And I love those cars, and they're part of what keeps me motivated. I like spending my money, um, because I think otherwise I become complacent. I like having or wanting new things and wanting to keep myself going. And I kind of do that through material things, but that's why you freaking live.
Yeah, we all have different motivators. Obviously, you don't know like a great deal, but like for me, it's like my faith, and like that's what keeps me going. Like trusting the Lord and what I got. I know where I am now is not is I'm hoping it'll be different than where I am 5 years now. Obviously, I hope that I graduate college, but we all have those different things that kind of motivate us and keep us going to a certain point. I'm sure, like for me, I would love to go back 5 years and tell myself, hey, this is where you'll be in 5 years. Because I think me of 5 years ago would be shocked that I'm here, and it seems like it might be similar to you. If you could go back 5 years ago and tell a younger Keenan, hey, 5 years from now, this is what you're going to be doing. And also, you're going to have these cars. The younger Keenan would probably be like, I don't believe you.
No, yeah, no, I wouldn't believe it. I never thought that this would, but now it just seems so casual to me, though. It's weird how your mind changes based on the things you're surrounded by, or the places you've gotten yourself. Like to you too, it's probably just, this is just another day. But look at today through the eyes of you 5 years ago, and you're like, what? No freaking shot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of those things. You do need to have those reflections, though, to remind yourself how lucky you are, and
Um,
how you even got yourself to this right now, because you're probably doing the right thing.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's also during those reflections, it can be very humbling. Like, man, I'm at this point, and you want to you want to promote yourself and let people know, but at the same time, you don't want to do it in a cocky way. Like you want it to be known
Hmm.
you worked hard to get here. This wasn't just a something that just appeared. Like it's a very humbling experience to get to the point where you are in YouTube, because there are so many kids, even that I know just on my college campus, where they're like, "Oh, I really want to do this. I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to make videos," and then like 4 or 5 videos in, they've got like 5 or 6 views on them, and then they're like, I don't, I'm not getting views. It's out. It's like no, like you said earlier in the show, you have to stay the course. You can't be
Hmm.
discouraged by small numbers early on.
Right. Yeah. I can't think of how many videos I had that just didn't do anything,
Yeah,
before I even managed to get 100, 200 viewers a video. You can't be deterred. You can't be scared away. If you really care about it, you'll keep going.
absolutely, and that's And that's a message that honestly I think everybody, especially nowadays, need to hear, because I think when COVID hit, it really took the motivation out of everybody to kind of stop and then make it so hard for them to start back up. So
Mhm.
you got to work hard. You got to stay the course. And I do appreciate you so much giving me this time. Before we head off, is there anything in the near future, any changes or any exciting things for the channel or for you personally that we can expect?
I feel like there was something, but I can't even remember.
Is
I
there
don't know.
maybe?
I've thought about getting into doing another a side channel for a vlog kind of stuff, but
Okay.
we'll see. I'm trying to. I don't know. I also don't want to spread myself too thin,
Yeah.
but I don't know if, like on my channel, I don't even know what tomorrow's video is gonna be.
Yeah. You never know. Wake up and who knows. Now I do got to ask before I leave, because I knew that it was a merch drop a little bit ago. It was before I knew about your channel. Will the Beef Boss hoodies make a return? Because if they do, I got to
Oh
get
man.
myself one, because those dropped before I discovered your channel. And I personally, and I know some people as well that would love to get them if they do drop again.
I did have a DM recently with my guy at my merch company about potentially bringing those back, and that is on the table. Um,
Yes. You
and
need them.
I think if I was smart, I'd do it again. But at the same time, I don't want them to become, I want to keep them limited. But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think there's going to be another drop of them.
Oh no, that's awesome, because since we found it, I can tell you that I've at least introduced your channel to my fraternity, and they think that it's hilarious. And I've had a few of them say, like, if he does drop them, like, we're gonna get him. But obviously, you don't want to just throw them up forever. Like, it's got to be a limited drop, otherwise it
Mhm.
loses its luz and its value. And I mean, people can. I've seen. I don't know even if you know this, but like your stuff is on Amazon, but it's such like a cheap version of it.
Yeah, there's knockoffs. I see that too. I don't know what we can do about it. Yeah, but there's knockoff stuff, people trying to make money off um, you know, whatever stuff from my channel. I don't know how much they make from it, but
I
yeah,
think.
there's always someone trying to make a buck in some sort of way. Somebody probably you know, I don't know,
I
from
guess
wherever.
I guess you've officially made it when you have people making knockoff stuff of your stuff. Then that means, hey, you're big enough where people want to make knockoff stuff of it.
Yeah, I guess that's one of those you made it moments maybe.
Exactly. But no, I'm so grateful that you were able to give up your time and do this. I know that you got to hop on to streaming and get that going and up and going, and you got videos to record and editing to do. But I do really appreciate you giving me your time for this. And for those who are listening, again, it'll be in the description. But on YouTube, it is Poofesure. Check it out. I guarantee that you will laugh. It's gonna be great. Get those views up, and on Instagram and Twitter, it's Poofesure, and on Twitch as well. And just go check him out, subscribe, get those followers up, get those views up. And I really want to thank Keenan for joining me and giving me this time. This has been the first episode ever of Barely Bushy, and it's been a pleasure to do this. And I'm hoping to give you guys consistent content. And again, like I said in the beginning of the show, if you have a story or if you're doing something unique that you would love to talk about and come on and talk, like Keenan gave me his time today, it is Bushy Blue Cheese on Instagram and Twitter. And you can even add me on Snapchat as well. And just reach out to me and let me know that you have a unique story that you would love to tell. Thanks for joining me. And I'm so excited for where this podcast goes in the future of what we got. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.